Hello, everybody, welcome. What is a psych investigator? Hell, huh? Uh-huh. Everybody, welcome. What is a psych investigator? Another day in hell. No, season in hell. Is that right? I'm bored, isn't it? Right? Is that right? Season in hell. I don't know. Here we are today. A beautiful day here in this dramatic set of. I don't know where are we really. What is this thing that we're living through? Thank you for being patient, guys. It was the time of the month. You know what I mean? So I did not have much energy. And I'll be honest with you, I start looking at the news, right? Because of course I depend on news in a way to start doing the video. And I get kind of hypnotized by all the chaos and the drama that's going on. And it's one of those instances where there's so much going on that I don't even know that I can pinpoint to one thing. But let's get started. Let's do the protection. I'd like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources. That it create the good and only the good, and so it is. Okay. So let's go. So um guys, okay, so now since I last posted a video, of course, this was the beginning, right, of those tariffs. And now Trump yesterday made a false claim that he had paused when the tariffs have not been paused at all, and Wall Street is reacting accordingly, right? You saw that the stock is going down and the bonds, the yields are going up because people are selling bonds. Because usually what happens in the stock market is when stocks are low, people buy bonds for safety, but people are selling bonds because that right, this is the hope. But I think, but guys, it's something I have to tell you. I hope that none of you fall into the fallacy of, but why is he doing that? Oh, but doesn't he know? No, no, no. The goal is destruction and chaos. It is not. He knows exactly what it is doing. It's different now, I think, than the first presidency, because now I think both his situation in some ways is a lot worse in terms of the risk of him going to prison. A, and then two, and B, let's say two, it's about destruction and the tech people that are around him, Peter Thiel and such. Peter Thiel is basically, when I say Peter Thiel, I mean JD Vance, because JD Vance is just is a spokesperson for Peter Thiel, basically. So this has been their dream. Their dream. I'm not exaggerating. There's many sources for this. There's many journalists that cover this. Their dream is to destroy the American economy and put crypto in place. I'm not exaggerating. So this is the people that are behind Trump now. And I'm sure this is kind of what happened with Brexit, but in a much bigger scale, because with Brexit, we know that Russians were all over it. And it helped weaken. It basically closed. The whole purpose of Brexit is to isolate the UK and burn the bridges with with the EU and their partners. Okay, so this is not that different, guys. You know what is happening right now. I know that I'm gonna get at least one comment. Rosie, why don't you put your makeup before? I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, I think people do. You don't understand how the Zoom thing helps a lot. I have so many because I put makeup earlier today, way earlier, and now I'm retouching, but it's very thick and kind of messy. But thank God for Zoom, because I use a filter to like clean up the skin or whatever, so it kind of blends the colors together. It's my face still, but it's it's like having a facelift without actually having a facelift, I think. So, but going back to other topics here, the truth is. Hmm, this situation very strange. So, let's go here. So what is going on? So now today, uh, the markets. So yesterday, last night, and that there was even some comments that said, "Rosie, Trump has suspended. Was it? He paused the tariffs. Are your predictions different?" And I said, "No, he has not paused it. He actually increased tariffs on China, which is so the China thing, guys, is the biggest deal because so much of American economy depends on China. And by the way, every single thing that I'm wearing right now comes from China. I think it's most of it is Shane, but if even if it was bought here, still was probably made in China because the cost of the like and guys, it's so interesting. Now that I remember this, probably don't know this, but I went to fashion school for 1 year here in New York, and I remember I interned at this place that doesn't exist anymore, and so there was like the design room and the production room. It was already you had to be Chinese or had to speak Chinese because the production of the collection was all done abroad in China then. And I don't even think that this is what's called Seventh Avenue. I don't think it barely exists anymore, but it's a reality, right? And then clothing got so much cheaper, part because of that too. But I don't think people understand the cost of labor and how expensive it is to design, make clothes and such. So anyway, it's gonna be more expensive for me to guys to get this. Look at these rings, how beautiful they are. They're $2 from Shein. Like, I mean, I bought 6 of them for $2, right? So I can layer them, put them together like that. They're tiger yeah, tiger. I don't know. It's cool, right? Cool. So it is what it is, the situation. So anyway, so of course Wall Street reacts because I'm sure you've heard countless stories of how a lot of small businesses they're going to close here because of how high the tariffs are. And for me, of course, the t-shirt that cost $6 is going to cost me because I'm going to have to pay tariffs on the package. So I think it's going to cost like 130% more. That means it's so six, let's say 12, probably around $14. It used to be 6, now it's 14. This is just pricing on those tariffs alone. But if you think about the shipping for them, like because they have to, how do they transport this, right? It's gonna get more expensive for them. So this is just, I think, my if I multiply the cost, because all the costs are going up for them, not just the tariffs, right? I think the real price would be 300%. If you, because as we know, it's not just making the clothes, it's like all the different things coming, that we talked about it. So Wall Street knows how to count. Okay. So nobody buys that. This is no. Okay. So let's ask how much lower, and I've said before with Karina that I think this is his downfall because the goal is to destroy the American economy. And guys, look at the situation. I was looking at the news today. We are at a point where Rand Paul is going against Trump. Rand Paul has been a hardcore libertarian. I was surprised, to be honest, because he loves Russia. But even I was surprised to know that he has. Where is the hit there? Okay, so he has some principles. I was shocked, to be honest with you. So that he was saying that oh, see, the flips is so bizarre. It really bothers me in a way, but it's okay. Okay, so so here we are. So right. So this is a situation discussing, right? So he's lying. He lied on that when he made that statement that, oh, I'm pausing it. He's not pausing. He, in fact, increased the tariffs for China, which arguably are the most concerned. Like I said before, this is the country that affects because guys, the American economy is 60% consumer. It's moved by consumers. So when you and consumer products are basically pretty much all made in China. I think that goes without saying, right? Vietnam is picking up the slack from that, I think a little, but not enough. And they have very sophisticated supply chains. They're not as like, the fame is like, oh, China does like cheap stuff. Not always. And not everything that, people think this chain is so it's like they have a look, amazing stuff. I as you guys know, I depend on China for guys, in when you don't have a lot of money, and I've done better recently, but for the longest time, I have very little money, really. So it was a joy. This is like, I'm just being honest with you. It was an absolute joy to receive those packages. You could spend $40 and get, three dresses, earrings, underwear, whatever. Like, you don't understand. Like, it's it's affordable, right? But like, but now it's just I think, and it's like people can't afford stuff. That's the reality of most people in this country. Okay. So, so there it is killing joy for millions of Americans because really, guys, yes, supposedly the stuff doesn't last, but a lot of it has lasted for me, and it just brings this. Look how much joy it brings me. $2.3 or something. It brings me a lot of joy. So, so anyway, it's going to be more expensive. Okay, so all right, so and I'm paying for it, right? I don't. Oh, and somebody left. There's somebody I know personally have spoken to her. She works for the post office. She left a comment saying that she has received, as work because she was with the post office. She has received instructions on how it's going to work. So we're gonna have to pay for these packages. Like once we receive them, we have to pay, have a balance to pay. And this reminds me of like one time, this is like more than a decade ago. I sent a friend in the UK a little sweater. I bought this really expensive baby clothes. She just had a baby or like had a young baby. And I went to this little cute little French store and got this very expensive little cute little jacket. And at the time, this was like 10, 15 years ago, it was like more than $100. And I got mad because she sent me a bill. I had already spent all this money. Made the effort. I shipped to the UK, and she sent me a link like, "Please pay this." And I was like, "What?" And it was $15 or something like that. It was a tariff, right? This is what because I shipped. I wrote that it was a gift, and I think Papa probably said how much it cost. So I paid, and I still remember it. But it's a hassle, right? For every little thing you get abroad, you're gonna have to pay for this. So 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 that's it. It's called the de minimis. It used to be that it was like you didn't have to pay for this before because it was exempted below $800. So, but now it's not like that anymore. So, welcome to the Trump economy. Okay, so that's the story. I went off a little. So, so okay. Anyway, so we know that today the market keeps going down, and the bond prices keep going up because people are selling. Not the bond price, the bond yield. Okay. So, so the question is, what's going on here? How much longer? What's going to happen? Because my concern, guys, is that I've said this before. Trump, no, I'd say Peter Thiel, let's say, and a lot of those like nasty, evil, Nazi-esque tech people. They want to destroy the economy so they can create this like crypto world that they fantasize about. They have fantasized about for decades. Okay. And they want to create, they're gonna, oh, we're gonna create the underclass. We're gonna do all this stuff. That's their dream. So, what is gonna happen here? Are they gonna succeed? I have to ask this question, right? What's gonna happen here? I did have I asked for. Let me just again ask for. I'd like to ask for protection from beautiful air light coming into my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from The highest sources that create the good and only good. And so it is. Let's actually write the question down here. Um, what's next? And we haven't even gotten started with the whole insider trading. Tell me what's going on with tariffs. So I see that he's, yeah, no, but we have to keep going. We have to keep going with those tariffs, and I can't even imitate him. I don't like watching him. I don't know. He just keeps pretending to be not aware of what he's doing. Like he put, because I think fundamentally, I think he knows that this is the thing. He knows that this will destroy the economy. Does Trump? Yes, he knows. And I found that there were videos that show people found online Trump saying that he loves the downturns because everything gets cheaper and he can buy things cheaper, buildings cheaper, and everything. So he knows what he's doing. So he just pretends that he doesn't. Okay, and I see that, yeah, Peter T, they're ecstatic. They're like, oh yeah, finally this, and I know I see all these people that criticize us, they're going to be begging for a job that pays $12 a month. They're so excited in their minds, right? So, okay, so that's right. But I see this, that it keeps getting lower, and that the bankers, I know a lot of people are like, buy into the whole anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, like Jamie Dimon. I see Jamie Dimon, but it has nothing to do, obviously, because people will be like, oh, but bankers are, they're bad people. But when you guys, the bottom line is this: when you think about it, that's America, and absolutely trust my bank. Jamie Dimon is the CEO of Chase. Absolutely trust Chase, and it's not like those banks and people at places like that are right. They just they crash and take people's money. Period. Bye. So they know, yes, but then things the market keeps going down, and Trump keeps pretending unsuccessfully that it's not his fault. And I think he keeps doing this thing where he's like, no, 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 we're gonna go up, and I'm not gonna do it. And then the market reacts and the same thing. So there's no confidence in him from the markets and the business, normal business people, right? Not the corrupt scammers that he hires. So, and I see that Republicans, I even see Republicans and Democrats working together to stop this. And so, but what happens to Trump between? I see that he's like, then I see that he's captured, he's handcuffed because it's like, what, it doesn't really matter honestly at this point whether it's like crazy. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And even if he sort of has some dementia, it still is what really drives. He's a very destructive person, and what drives him is the it's like he feels giddy knowing that people are suffering because of this. It makes him feel important. It makes him feel alive. Just see that he's causing so much damage. I'm not kidding. I'm 100% serious about this because it makes him feel rich. And he just loves, I'm sorry, he's a very evil person. He just loves it. Okay. So what's next? So then I see this. It keeps going down, down, down. He doesn't do anything about it. He claims he's going to do this and that. Everyone sees that it's a bluff, like he's just not interested. His friends are making money from this, yes. And so tell me more. You know, I, okay, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I feel like his whole administration is about it's like these bank robbers. They're coming in, they know they're going to get out. I feel like even though we're in a position where if Trump gets what he wants, he'll never leave power. The way they're acting is as if they know this is going to be short lived and they have to take as much money with them as possible. from from their pump and dumps and all that, because a lot of people who do who those let's say crypto barons, it's all pump and dumps. They make this is they watch the market, they create rumors, they manipulate the market, and then they dump. This is exactly what they're doing, right? They dump when the time comes. So now what happens next? It just keeps going down. That's right. And then I see it. This is a progression I see. Oh no, no, it's this. This is the same thing that we're seeing. Drama, ups and downs, up, manipulating up, manipulating down. Then I see that there are no, honestly, there are no allies for Trump on this, other than the people that have done the pump and dumping, have sold the stock ahead of time because right they knew it was coming. And by the way, there are charts that show, and you can find it. I'm not going to click on it right now, but it shows very clearly that about 30 to 40 minutes before he made the announcement, there was a lot of market movement. In other words, they knew. And the volume was quite high. So not of quite a few people knew about it. And they traded right before. It's just classic. This is how they find insider trading. But since they have dismantled the SEC pretty much, at least for now, they will not. I don't, so, but it tells me 2.5 months. 2.5 months. They're gonna they're gonna start getting this. They're gonna start it's saying it is telling me that it's not forever, really. It is not forever. What is happening? Meaning what? That we're gonna return to a time of law and order. And I see, okay, this is the thing that I forgot to say. So I saw this movement of Trump. Oh no, 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 ups and downs, ups and downs. And then he looks for the exit. And as he looks for the exiters are closed. And then I see that whoever it is, feds or military, over, they hone in on him because he's going to try to think with Russia, or he's going to try to have the military go defend Russia, and Russia, like literally send troops to Russia and like to defend it off from Ukraine. I'm serious. That's the real end here. But that's where we're going. That's where we're headed. He's gonna, because one time I saw this a few days ago, I think it was, I saw this definition of, like, it said something that the con man doesn't stop when he is discovered. He stops when he runs out of marks. Right? Marks are the victims or people that believe him. So I think, yes, he's been exposed how many times, and he doesn't stop. Why doesn't he stop? Because he still has marks. But he runs out. I do think that he runs out of marks in the sense that people just don't believe it anymore. Nobody does. And they have already, in a way, they have already made the money from it. And I see his kids have made money from it on top of all the how much corruption, billions of dollars in corruption so far. And when he says that he wants to do tariffs, like to the countries to go negotiate with him directly, we know what that means, right? Money, some sort of deal, something, some sort of a cut for him. So, so that's that. And and again, it's like the first president in history, I'm serious, who does nothing to stop the markets. And all these very serious people knock on his door, go to television, whatever, he doesn't do anything. And it's obvious, right? I mean, to us, it's obvious. He wants to destroy America. And and I just, honestly, I do see that there's this bipartisan push for him to leave after he absolutely refuses to do anything. But what really stops him is, I still see it as being him wanting to, as he tries to escape from the mess that he's doing to enrich his buddies and destroy America. He then tries the violent stuff, right? He tries to be like, oh no, I'm gonna go, let's support Russia. So because I think when he feels threatened, he he really goes to Putin. He feels it's like Putin is his daddy. So I have a question. But that's kind of an interesting question I had. Is Putin happy with the value destruction, the price of oil? Okay. So the question is Putin happy with value destruction? The price of oil is very low now, and this doesn't help Russia. It's saying he loves the chaos and he thinks that, but still he needs it soon enough. He thinks it's worth if there's destruction, then he has power, right? I think he's happy, even though it hasn't helped. I think he thinks that the price of oil will go up soon enough. That's what I think. Let me see. He doesn't seem too bothered. It's annoying to him that the price of the oil is down, but he loves to see the chaos and the division. That's what he lives for. So, okay. Interesting. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, so let's talk about insider trading. So Democrats have said, okay, let's see here. And today, guys, it's just one of those days that is so overwhelming with the news. I separated so many different pieces of things to talk about, but in the end, I just have to go with the flow here. Okay. What about insider trading? When Adam Schiff threatened to investigate the administration for insider trading, a lot, seeing all of them, all of them. Anyone who got, I see all of them getting the information. Like even that woman, Carolyn Levitt, and others, like, oh yeah, he's gonna do this. Go tell your husband, tell this person, tell that person. So that's a lot. It's saying more than 200 people have traded on the information that they had, and all those people are connected to the White House. So yes, and that's because I feel like they hate the job. Anyway, I don't think they're there just uh to take advantage, right? They're not there to work. They're there to kind of scam off whatever they do. So that's what they're there for. And I see that they're all eventually going to go down. Okay, so now the next question. Next question. Tell me what else do we need to know? I see interesting shows me Kamala rising. I guess she's writing a book. That's what it said. That she has just made a speech, and it's so interesting that she feels the call of leadership because that should be her. That's her job. That she was elected for it, but they took it from her. I have a question. So, any, guys, still, I don't understand how come they didn't do anything about it. Okay, someone sent me an article that suggested that right immediately after it was like honestly, with these books, I remember how many articles there were about how Kamala is she's a bad boss, she's this, she's demanding the such and such. So I always take these things with a grain of salt, but they were saying that she was asking for a recount privately, and she and Tim Walz didn't get how come they just wouldn't. It's not they didn't accept it. It was they didn't believe it, right? Come on, and that was that. So, but it's interesting when I look at now Biden comes to me and he seems to know, I mean, again, that there is something's going to happen here, that they're digging their own holes and they're not going to last. So I also get that they're like, no, Rosie, they're not going to last. Don't worry. They're not going, they're just essentially digging holes for themselves. Okay. Another thing again, guys, just I'm just like I should get into the habit of doing like times like this, doing videos like twice a week, twice a day, because there's so much going on and I really can't talk about any one particular thing like with an article because of this. But I have another question. So, okay, what about okay, so the question is, what about the executive orders targeting the two former Trump officials of the last admin who came public with what they knew? So I think the name was Chris Krebs, who was involved. This is the other thing. He was involved in look at how effective he was securing the 2020 election. And then they went after Miles something Taylor, who's the guy who's saying I'm anonymous. And this is why, when people say anonymous, this is not the same, obviously not the same person, but I've always been a little like at the time I even thought it's like, okay, so big deal. You witnessed that and you did what exactly? Nothing. So it's surprising to me that Trump, not surprising because it seems so petty. I mean, he's a very petty person, but it's like those people did not do, in my opinion, very serious, like dramatic things, but there he is. So my question is, are they going to be okay? Because it's serious. Imagine having the federal government target you like that, especially those people. It tells me in 8 months they will sue the former people in the Trump administration, the former Trump administration, I guess, is saying. For 3 months, it's going to be kind of like tough. Even it's announced, but then it won't go into effect. And then I think the administration will collapse. But there's so much chaos now and immediately after Trump leaves. I do think that Trump is not going to, I don't know. I don't feel like he's here for much longer. The whole group, all of them. Okay. So it just shows that for the next 3 months, I feel like they could even hide for their safety because of like this criminal administration. They're afraid and they got threats. Remember how there was a woman who testified that they sent the DOJ sent someone with those big guns, like serious guns to intimidate her. Martial arm, like just to be really horrific. Okay. All right. So then the next, so they're going to be okay, but for the next 3 months, it'll be very tough on them. All right. So then the other question: what about? I know I've talked about this before. What about the law firms? He's targeting all these, including Neo Cartel, and it's sad to say that Neo Cartel was targeted. I have to tell you guys, Neo Cartel. I always felt like he had kind of like a big ego. I don't like. He just thinks he's so the hottest shit. I don't know. I've never been super into him, but so tell me about those firms. He's really devastated because he's lost. People are not gonna respect him quite as much, right? I don't know if he's still in the MSNBC, but it's so embarrassing, right? Like, why? They're go why and I see Putin again. They want to cut oh, this is the thing. These are the law firms that went after Trump, that sued Trump administration or even Trump himself for his crimes. And he wants it's wow, that's oh, of course, I forgot about this. Remember how he doesn't pay attorneys? And and he has a really hard time finding reputable attorneys. So the most famous firms, the ones that he thinks are like, they think they're so much better than me. He's punishing them, right? So he's punishing the people that could take him down. This is what this is about. And then there's no pushback, right? There's no pushback. So no, he's being sued by some other firms, but the big ones have caved. So what happens? 4 months, and then it's like what is it, ripped off, like ripped, the paper is ripped. Because they had to quote unquote cut his deals with this administration. But I think they will be tainted. This is a guys, that was one of the worst. The fact that I understand that they have that they feel like their clients could be harmed, and it's possible, but they have no principles. That's the thing, right? It's really gross. And it's saying the world had to know what's going on, the whole, like, it's just so corrupt, so corrupt. But again, it's saying it's going to lead to a lot of change once these people are out. Okay. So, okay, then the next, again, I'm doing these things that I have thought through, that I'm not basing on specific articles, but one of the questions I have is what's going to happen, because guys, the Pam Bondi, she's apparently one of the people who remember how I think was she the attorney of Florida or something district? I forgot what her job was, but she helped Epstein at the end of the day, right? Get away with things. And then I'm just, and the fact that she's involved in all this, like the mess of the deportations and all, and the whole going after the attorneys, and it's just so awful, this woman. What will end up happening to her? Hmm. Weird. I see that she does drugs, cocaine or something. I see her looking really skinny. She's left, the administration is gone. I have to tell you, this is not, I don't wish this on anybody, but I see she's murdered. Honestly, I see she's like putting on her makeup. Somebody comes with a mask, boom, like in like execution style. So, but I see they put a gun in her hand to try to make it like she did it to herself. So it's saying, but she's got, she knew a lot about that her mob, because she's saying she was tasked with looking up all the investigations into those Russian mobsters or whatever. And so it's saying, but why does she look so much, she just looks so much older on because she's not that young. She looks really good, right? But I think she's done, in other words, she's done a lot of plastic surgery. And then I think she's mid 60s, I think, something like that. Uh, but it just, yeah, she looks like a kind of like a different person. But it's saying they know where she is, and she knows that once you work with these people, they know exactly, they always will know where you are. And and that's that. Interesting. Okay. I know there's a lot more people that I want to like. Okay, what about the guy, Navarro? Elon Musk, by the way. Trump had a video today with Elon Musk. Yeah, horrible press conference. Like, oh, I don't need Elon Musk anymore. I just like his cars. And he's like, oh, I saved 100 billion. Blah blah blah. So what's happening here with Elon Musk? I just see that Elon Musk, it's interesting. He knows he's no longer what he was before. He's trying to muscle his way into power again, but Trump doesn't want him around as much. And I see he sees himself slipping away, and his companies are not doing well at this point. But why? This is a question. Okay, so actually, So right here. So, but why doesn't Elon Musk go back? Because it's like he's rich enough, he has enough money. What the hell is he doing hanging out with Trump? Doesn't he see how bad it is for him? He's a negomaniac, a drug addict. He's addicted to power. And I see that he is resentful of Trump because he feels like he gave Trump the election, and therefore I'm the real president. And that's why it's saying that he, remember at the beginning, especially, he was trying to muscle his way into all these meetings, including remember the Pentagon meeting that he went to? He's saying that was the apex, and now he's gone down, but he still feels like I'm the real president. I'm the real president here. And so, but somehow I feel like so why does he feel like, yes, he knows he's slipping, but it's interesting. He thinks that the solution to the slipping is not staying away from the White House, but staying longer because it's about power for him now. His ego is out of control. And in his mind, he thinks if he has power, he can change things to make himself look good. So, okay. So guys, I have a question, personal question here. I just think it's interesting because I told you I'm the whistleblower I was. I don't know if there's what's going on with the SEC, but I kind of like I was thinking, about the press and this. Is there a situation, because it kind of relates to some people in this government, to be honest. Not them directly, but it's the whole, it's that, is this, are people going to come out with stuff that shows them, these people who, shows the world who these people really are? Uh, so you're not alone. There's a lot of people pushing for this, but it's saying first, there's a lot of stuff from Trump himself, right? There's a lot of news about Trump. Trump is trying to change the conversation to always be about himself, and then it's saying the momentum is not quite there, but in a few months it will be. So it's saying you will come out, and everybody's going to be okay. But like the moment there is a crack, the light will appear and it will show everything. So it shows me, how YouTube has a queue, like a queue of videos to watch. It's saying it's on the queue for the future. Okay, so it'll be okay. It will come out. Um, it's saying before the end of the year. That's right, because It's saying they're not going to stay. They're just what I'm getting. It's hard to see. Honestly, I still don't know exactly how. I did see, the whole thing, like, but it's when you look at things right now, it doesn't. So let me just ask like this. So when we look at the situation of Trump, how much longer? Okay, and seeing the things that we saw in the future, it seems like so far away. Is it really far? No, they're saying that it's like it's darkest before, or for the light before dawn. It's darkest before dawn. They act crazy, 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 and then it stops. And then the music stops. So, and I see the whole world is gonna laugh. Ha 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 ha. Everybody will be happy. So anyway, but that's it, guys. I hope, okay, I tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm coming back. I'll be coming back, and then instead of, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait a little and gather everything, but I should just do chunks instead of waiting for the whole thing, right? I think Corinna's gonna be back tomorrow. We'll see. Okay. All right. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Bye. Prayer and energy time. Let's use this time to send energy to people healing and going through complex health challenges. Their bodies need the energy we send them. Bo, recuperating from intestinal surgery at the Mount Sinai Hospital, battling cancer and winning. I spoke to her today, and I felt her mother telling me she will survive and thrive. Cecilia, her sister, visits her daily. Cecilia is herself also battling cancer, and she's also winning. Bella is also undergoing cancer treatment. Let's envision her pain free and 100% cancer free. Treatment. Let's send Bo, Cecilia, and Bella energy. Bo, Cecilia, and Bella are fully healed, full of energy, cancer free, and proud to tell this story of great health and recovery. Okay, so just going to be silent for a bit as I send them energy right now. And I hope you do the same. And also, you can think of others that you know, your loved ones, someone that you feel may be in need of energy, and focus on them. Okay? Okay, so let's start. I'll be silent here for a little bit. Thank you again. Let's create this circle of energy around them. And so it is.